This corn right here, well, I'm holding that up because all of it is completely flattened. The big revelation today was that 14-year-old boy is facing 3 charges. We do know that St. Joseph County's Metro Homicide Team has taken over this investigation. The home at the center of all this, I want to step out of the way and show you. It's 520 Burdett Street. That is the home where officers went this morning to serve this search warrant. Hopefully you can see on the camera, we have some snow flurries still falling here, and that is starting to build up on the road. I want to show you here, these are the Harbor Point condominiums just near the lakeshore. You can see some damage already being done, those garages over there, and this car, if you look at it, just a few inches away probably from having some water get inside. So the mailboxes here really give a good illustration of how much snow actually fell here. They're seeing more and more patients, and what that translates to is simply that the hospitals are running out of room. We do know that he is a man in his 50s, but they wouldn't say specifically what part of the county he lived in. I want to, though, take you guys in, just give you a live look at what's going on right now, because there was a major sort of blow up that just happened. You can see over my shoulder there, the van that was pulled from this pond is still on scene. The debate has been raging around the U.S. Postal Service and whether it's equipped to handle the strain the November elections will put on the system.
I'm going to go vote in person.
And why is that?
Oh, come on now. You cannot trust any of this nonsense.
We wanted to know how long would it take for mail-in ballots to get to their destination, or if they'd get there at all. We contacted the St. Joseph County Clerk's Office to see what size envelopes they use to mail ballots and how much they weigh. Then we rented a post office box at the same post office the clerk's office uses. After all that, we took 100 envelopes and stuffed them each with 3 pieces of paper to mimic the weight and numbered each one. After a lot of licking, labeling, and stamping, we were ready to send them out. We sent some of them home with members of our staff, and the rest we mailed out from places across St. Joseph County. We started in Lakeville, then over to Walkerton, up to North Liberty, New Carlisle, South Bend, Granger, Mishawaka, and Osceola. We checked our P.O. box less than a week later, and all 100 envelopes made it to the post office. That was welcome news to St. Joseph County Clerk Rita Glenn, whose office is expecting mail-in voting like they've never seen before.
There's definitely concerns, and the voters are concerned also.
Yeah. You guys have been getting calls?
Oh, inundated with calls.
Glenn says her office has already received thousands of applications for absentee ballots. During our 15-minute interview, 33 more came in online. She says people have grown increasingly concerned about whether their vote will be counted if sent by mail, and fairly so, but she wants to assure people that the post office is working with them.
We've tried to keep our communications open with the local post office. We constantly call them if we have an issue. We got a little hotline that's saying, hey, what's going on here? But what we've also done is have worked with the post office.
Glenn says it's important for voters to be informed about dates and deadlines if voting by mail, and not waiting until the last minute. As for claims made by President Trump about widespread fraud in mail-in voting, Glenn says not in her office.
I don't care what your party affiliation is. You took an oath and you have a job to do. Let's get it done.
Cops swarmed Anderson Road in Granger Sunday afternoon following a multi-department chase.
We saw a bunch of cop cars going up and down the road from St. Joe County, Elkhart County, and the Mishawaka.
They descended on the woods behind this home. That's where police say the suspect was shot by a homeowner who found him hiding out.
You know, it's bang, 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 and it happened over a period of a couple hours.
The chase started around noon in Goshen. Dispatchers telling police the suspect was armed. Elkhart County officers took over, followed by St. Joseph County officers. Investigators say the suspect later ditched his car near the intersection of Bittersweet and Cleveland. Then he ran into some nearby woods and was later found and shot once by the property owner. The suspect was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive.
We were concerned about our house getting shot up, obviously. We were concerned about our neighbors getting hurt. You know, our son was upstairs asleep.
Jeff and Dawn Forsyth live next door to where the shooting happened and witnessed the entire ordeal.
It does freak you out, and then when you see them swarm the place, and not just one, but multiple, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're all coming. Yeah, that's really unsettling.
The St. Joseph County Metro Homicide Team was called in to handle the investigation. Officers spent the afternoon collecting evidence on the property and taking statements, but they aren't saying whether the shooting was justified.
I can't make a determination on the information I have now because we're so fresh into this investigation. But you know, we're gonna go through all the steps.
The Forsyths know the shooter well and say they're sure he was just protecting himself and his family.
I'm sure he was fearing for his life, as you know, his fiancée is there, her kids, etc. I mean, it's his property.
It was a race against the clock as first responders worked to rescue 4 people trapped inside a van that plunged into a Mishawaka retention pond. When crews were called out shortly before 3 o'clock, they found the van completely underwater.
I saw one of them pulling someone out, or pulling something out.
Boats and dive teams were deployed, eventually pulling 3 children and 1 adult from the vehicle. All were taken to area hospitals with serious injuries.
When I went down there and couldn't see the vehicle but saw the tracks, it was obvious what had happened.
The scene attracted several onlookers, many saying they were shaken by what they saw. You can see it in the reaction of these people as what appears to be an infant child is pulled from the frigid waters.
It was absolutely horrible, and I'm shaken by it.
William Martin works just 100 feet away from the scene. He says he felt helpless as he watched on in disbelief.
There was little to be done. I mean, the responders were there in cold weather gear and obviously the ones doing their job and effective, but it was just somber, to say it mildly.
Many bystanders hoping for the best after hearing that children were pulled from the car.
It's making me thoroughly think about it because my son's van is just like that one. So I'm just sitting there thinking, you know, that could be my kids or that could be my son and his kids.
St. Joseph County's fatal crash team is now investigating, spending this evening trying to figure out how that van ended up in the pond. While it's unclear if the icy roads played a factor, Martin says more should have been done.
I think it's inexcusable that the road was as slippery as it was, and if that was the cause of the accident, then I think there's blame to be assigned towards how we prioritize care.